A big shakeup in the race for the White House with Jeb Bush dropping out, raising major questions about who will get his supporters, his donors, and even his campaign staff.
We feel like a lot of the people that were on Jeb's team are people we're going to welcome onto our team, people we've known for a long time that, because of long-time loyalties and relationships with the governor and their admiration for him, we're obviously working with him, but now hopefully we can kind of bring everybody together.
We're going to see over this next week where a lot of those people move, but we've already picked up a number of them, both people who are just key political supporters and also people who raise money. So it'll be a scramble to see where it all goes, and it'll settle down in a few days, and then we'll be looking forward to March 1st.
Joining us now, Jackie Kucinich from the Daily Beast and Daniel Halper, online editor of the Weekly Standard. Jackie, how do you like that what me worry attitude from Governor Kasich there? He seems to be pretty confident that he's going to pick up a lot of support from the departure of Jeb Bush from this race.
I'm just still shaking my head about the women in the kitchen comment, but aside from that, he needs it. I don't know that that's going to happen, but there are a lot of Jeb supporters that are still looking. There is the conventional wisdom that they will all go to Rubio, because when you look at the numbers, there was an NBC poll a couple days ago that a lot of them do, but 23% of people that supported Jeb that were surveyed said that they're still looking. So the next couple of days are going to be critical, and to see if someone like a John Kasich can really show his stuff, that he might be more electable than Marco Rubio.
Is he a natural fit for, that is Marco Rubio a natural fit, Daniel, for Jeb Bush supporters?
Look, perhaps not natural, but that's probably where they'll go. But to be clear, to put it in the context, there aren't actually that many Jeb Bush supporters. That was the problem with Jeb Bush's candidacy, is he wasn't able to get enough supporters to make a compelling campaign and to mount a real challenge. So there's a lot of talk about it. The bigger question is where the money people go, because Jeb was able to raise over $100 million. Another question, do those money people want to invest in another campaign, perhaps one that doesn't look as strong as the front runner, Donald Trump, who really does look poised? It looks like there's like two campaigns going on, right? There's like Donald Trump and the winning campaign, and then there's this sideshow of this huge struggle for second place. It's kind of strange because the whole Jeb question doesn't really reflect what is happening and how Trump really is cleaning up, and how people should go after him if they want to mount a serious challenge.
Marco Rubio, Jackie, was often described as Jeb Bush's political protege, going back to the time when Bush was governor of Florida and Rubio was coming up in the State House. They apparently, were pretty chummy until both started running for president. And the irony is that Jeb Bush spent a huge amount of his campaign money and the super PAC supporting him, spent tens of millions of dollars trying to trash Marco Rubio. So it would be interesting, ironic, maybe bittersweet if the former Jeb Bush supporters are now turning to Marco Rubio, wouldn't it?
When you talk to prominent Jeb supporters, they would have told you, even, when Jeb Bush was in the race, that Marco Rubio was a fine alternative to Jeb Bush. I don't think you get a lot of disagreement. But Daniel's absolutely right. This is about donors. And, Marco Rubio needs to show that he can come in first in a state. He hasn't won a state yet, and if he can't do that, maybe you will have some donors that gave a bunch of money to Jeb Bush sitting on the sidelines and sort of waiting to see how things shake out and when things get a little firmer before writing another check.
Is it the rise of Donald Trump, Daniel, that has, thrown such a monkey wrench into these? I mean, Jeb Bush was the #1 candidate if you look back a year or so. He was far and away the guy who was poised to win this nomination. At least that's what the polling said.
Well, in a certain way, the Jeb Bush candidacy created the perfect foil for Donald Trump. You don't have, I don't think, Donald Trump's success without the Jeb Bush candidacy. It was the fear that we were going to have another Bush-Clinton matchup, and the politics just look the same, and it's just the same old people. And can't we move on to something new? And, oh, look, there's Donald Trump, and he looks kind of good, and he's got a compelling message, and he really gave rise to him, I think. And I think, so it's like, look, Jeb Bush leaving the race and some of his support maybe going to Marco Rubio is not necessarily a boon to Marco Rubio either, because inheriting the Jeb Bush mantle, didn't prove helpful for Jeb Bush, and it might not prove so helpful for the next person.
We already know that Tom Ridge, the former Homeland Security Secretary and governor of Pennsylvania, who had thrown his support, his endorsement to Jeb Bush, is now endorsing John Kasich. So there is a departure from the Bush supporters go to Rubio kind of construction, Jackie. What about others? Could there be other big name endorsements coming? You know, people who had endorsed Jeb Bush, are they going to throw their support? And would any of them go for Donald Trump?
Well, you know, all endorsements are not created equal, and I should say that. You know, with all due respect to former Governor Ridge, it's about the network that that person commands as much as their word. So I'm not sure what his network looks like, but I don't know how much it's actually going to help John Kasich at the end of the day. But he's the one who needs these endorsements. You know, Rubio is sucking these endorsements up all over the place of establishment Republicans, and so you know maybe John Kasich could use a little love in order to keep the momentum going for him.
All right. We'll see what happens, obviously. Thanks very much, Jackie Kucinich, Daniel Halper.
Thanks, John.
Thank you.